So for today's class on the 10th of October, we're looking at a review of last week's class where we define a database as an organized collection of information and data that we want to manage, rearrange, store, and manipulate this data. We heard that there are different types of databases that software are developed, and these software are called Database Management System, DBMS. An example of these includes Microsoft Access, FoxPro, Paradox, Approach Oracle, and OpenOffice Base. Now, what normally happens in organizations is that organizations sometimes store things called flat files. And a flat file is a database that contains records with fields. Flat files are normally manually created. So you could type up some data in a table in Microsoft Word. That's a flat file. Flat files only allow you to record data in them. But flat file has some disadvantages. And you may, as a homework, want to find out what is the difference between a flat file and a database. You may, for your homework, would like to find out or read how is a flat file different from a database. And then you want to find out the advantages and disadvantages of each. You might want to find out the advantages and disadvantages of each. No, I won't. You were talking while I was speaking to Amari. So, we find out that flat files were these tables or printed documents or tables of data that would store some information. And these flat files could not interact with each other. So they created databases. So as you know, a database is a computerized software that allows structured collection of records or data to be stored in a computer system. How the data is organized is by its database model. And last week we looked at the three modules being hierarchical, network, relational, or object. There are four models of database. And the one that is more popularly used is which model? Relational model. So after last week, you know what are the advantages, disadvantages of each model, and you must get naming at least two pieces of software that belongs to each model. Now, databases allows you to store data. Data is stored in a database by using records, otherwise called what? Tuple. And a record is a row of information within a database table. So each row of data in the table is called a record. And then there are fields. And fields speaks to each column of data within a database table. A field represents a logical unit of information stored in a database table. What is the next name for a field? Attribute. The database tables contains fields which are called attributes. Now when these columns and the rows come together, they form a grid, a table. So a database table, as you know, is a collection of related information that is stored. So the personal tabular database stores everything about the person: their ID, first name, last name, sex, date of birth, about the person. So related data is stored together in a database table, and then several database tables can come together to give you a DBMS. Because a DBMS is really a set of interrelated files. Now in database, there are certain tools in database that are used to pick out data, and these are called query. So you learn in CHC IT database how to query your data and get information for your database. So you might want to find out who are the persons who are born in a particular month, who are the persons who are females, who are the persons who are male, who live in a particular area. You can query your database to get answers from the database. And those are called select queries. And select queries are used with operational operators that are mathematical. It is used with relational operators like greater than, less than, greater than, equal, not equal, etc. It is used with database operands. And what are 5 database operands? What are 5 database operands? And this one, or, like, not, database operand, Howard, if, like seriously, chewing gum in my class. So your database operands that you have, for example, if you're doing a query and you want to select all the persons who are between 18 and 13, the criteria under age is greater than 18 and less than 13. And that means that both criteria must be met if records are to be selected. The person's age must be more than 18, but also it should be less than 13. Or operand, if you have persons in different houses, you want to find all the persons who come from either red house or blue house. Or operand means either criteria can be true or records be selected, but both of them can't be true. Because a student can't be in both red house and blue house. They can only be in one house. You know about the like operand? Somebody's first name. You don't remember the name, we know it is shush something. So you could say like shush asterisk. Shoshana, Shariah, and a more shush name. Or let's use another name, it's like Sash. So you have Sashana, Sasharona, Sashel, Joshua, Sash. I know the first part of it, but I don't know the last part. Or you know the person name end with the word end with the N. Keon, Tonian, Moyan, Robian, it ends in N. But you don't remember what comes before the N. what is the asterisk used for? It's called a what? A W. It's called a wildcard. And wildcards can be used to assist in searching for information in a database. So the asterisk when used represents any number of characters. Yes, it is. So we understand that wildcards can be used in queries to limit our searches or to help us narrow down the data to find exactly what we want. Because when CXC is looking for your records to do a transcript on you, they type in your name and the date of birth. That's a select query. So I pick out all the entries for Darian Coburn for all the exams he did in CXC. Then they could organize it by year. And then, apart from using the asterisk wildcard / asterisk, SH and N that comes after, or asterisk N, whatever comes for N load known, you also have the question sign wildcard. And the question sign wildcard, each question sign represents one character of data. So when you call to the cell and your voucher is scratched off and you can't see all 13 digits, they say to you, tell them what you see. It's a miss. As a 3, 6, goes nothing, 7, 4, 9, goes anything, 1, 6, 4, and that's a 9. And after tell them anywhere where those to the character, the number printed, set space. And what they do, they ask you for the serial number of the card. Because the cards are in batches. So they ask for the card serial number. So once they know the criteria for the serial number, and you give them the serial number, then what they will now need to do is that they will search the database for all the cards with this serial number that had 36 something something 749 something something 1649. And when they find, they'll say to you, we have found the card to be added to your account in 24 hours. Because what they will now do is to make a request on the database for that card. So they will send to the card center and to the cell, this customer call about this card number. They have given us correct serial number and they have given us the digits and we found the card that matches that serial number and the card number. Please apply this card number to the person's phone. And normally within a little short time is always on your phone. So they use search criteria to assist in databases. And there's not. Not is used to exclude. If you want to find out a criteria for all the persons who are not in blue house, so you could say not blue. The word not means to exclude in database. Instead of using not, they could have used the relational operator not equal to in programming, where they could have used this sign, not equal blue. It means to exclude everybody except those in blue house. So you see that queries are used to filter out data in a database. and queries meet criteria and we arrange them in a particular sort order, all database files must be sorted in order for it to be called a database. Now this morning, I would like to have a very informed discussion on part 2